Hello everybody, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks very much for joining us. Well, we've got quite a bit about to change in our weather pattern. After a beautiful sunny week, thanks to this big high in most areas, that's about to change as the northeasterlies come in and a developing low. One last thing, the southerlies, they've been blowing all week around the eastern side of the North Island. They are also about to finally fade away because on Friday, this is how it looks. The high is out over the Chathams. It spreads a ridge right up into the eastern North Island. It kills off that southerly and you get a mostly dry, sunny day. But in the north, you'll start to feel a bit of a change. In fact, by the end of Friday, there'll be a real change in the air from the last few nights because the winds have switched from being that colder polar southerly at the start of the week to a subtropical northeasterly, and that is what is coming in for the weekend. Subtropical nor'easters. That's going to drive in some very heavy rain. That's the line of it there. It'll take a few days to cross down over the North Island and then somewhat move into the South Island as well. And by the way, this is the first day of winter on the meteorological calendar, 1st of June, so that means for some people that'll be a nice change to have a warmer airflow coming through, but a lot of people have told me this week they've loved the colder air and they've loved the frosts. So this is Saturday, and yes, it is a wet day in Northland. In comes the main part of that rain band. Now, one of the trickiest things we have as weather forecasters is the timing of events, especially when you've got a really big low like this, and big doesn't always mean bad. Big just means big. So there's big areas of dry amongst this as well. But as this moves in, it's really this big area of blocking high pressure out to the east of New Zealand that will slow down the progress and ultimately determine what time that rain arrives. But generally speaking, the rain is moving down across the North Island over Saturday, should reach places like Auckland, Waikato and Coromandel later in the day. It might just be a bit patchy and showery at first, dry for just about everybody else though. On Sunday, that rain, that heavier rain, it moves further over the North Island, now into the Bay of Plenty, Gisborne, Hawke's Bay side of things and Central Plateau as well. Behind it, it might clear up a little bit. You might get some sunny spells or at least dry spells as it goes a bit patchier, but the rain now pushes into the South Island, Nelson, Marlborough, maybe even Canterbury, and there might even be a couple of showers down around Dunedin. But I have to say, the west coast, especially down from, let's say about Hokitika southwards, Otago and Southland, those are the places to be this long weekend. This is Queen's Birthday Monday, and again, those areas I mentioned are mostly dry. I don't know how sunny or clear they'll be at times. There might be a bit of cloud that moves through. That's why Southland's the place to be. I think you'll be furthest away from that. But in the north, in comes the deepening low. So more rain around the North Island, more showers. It does get a bit more broken up perhaps a bit on the Monday itself. And then we get to Tuesday and that moves out to the east, and behind it, yet another cold southerly. Now next week, there is still a bit of a question mark about how it's all shaping up. There's a really big high, 1030 hectopascals coming from Aussie. This high, as you can see, it stretches the whole screen. That's significant because it means it can really scoop up a lot of Antarctic air. But at the same time, the maps are showing it changing shape, morphing around a wee bit next week, which means it's continually affecting and changing our forecast. But I think it's pretty safe to say at the start of next week, there'll be another cold southerly or a southwesterly or something. And then later in the week, I think that high should start to roll in. And that's your first week of winter, at least on the meteorological calendar. That's all from me. We'll update you again on Friday with the latest for the long weekend. And we've got to make the most of it. It's our last one until all the way through till October. That's all from me. We'll catch you on Friday.